Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm going to skip all of the names that Hugh just mentioned, but premiers, chief ministers, ministers, commissioners of tourism, all seniors, official, travel industry colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for having me here. And most importantly, I really appreciate your invitation, Hugh, to be able to participate here and share our vision of what we are trying to do for this region, which is our core business, as I'll describe. So realizing the vision and how to position the Caribbean for a change. I just want to give you a little bit of our history. We started years ago. Back then, Apple Vacations, founded by John Mullen, in 1970, started selling vacations to Bermuda and Nassau back in 1970, starting with their own charters back then. After that, during that time, the first hotel started to be built in Cancun, and by the 80s, we were selling packages to Santo Domingo first. Then we also added non-stop flights from Philadelphia to Nassau. In the 90s, we began to operating flights to Puerto Plata. We became the first tour operator to deliver 1 million passengers to Cancun. We started non-stop flights to the Bahamas as well from different gateways in the United States. By the new millennium, the Caribbean recommended name Apple Vacations the best tour operator to the region, and we reached 1 million passengers into Punta Cana. So on our DNA, which came from the distribution side, started 45 years ago by John Mullen, we evolved to be what we are today, which is a very unique business model. We have a vertically integrated business model. It's the only one of this kind in North America, and our core business is the Caribbean and Mexico. We have a very strong distribution with clear distinction in between the different brands and business models that we have on the distribution side. We have dominant presence in the Caribbean also with a hotel product, and we also have a destination management company that is a very important part of the overall integrated vacations experience that at the end of the day, that's our product. What's our footprint in the Caribbean? We have, on the distribution side, we have 3 tour operators, all of them with their own unique business model. And this is, okay, here it is. Okay, Travel Impressions that moves about 500,000 passengers a year. 65% of those passengers go to the Caribbean, and 100% of the business is a B2B business, meaning all the business is sold through travel agencies. Then we have Apple Vacations with about 1 million passengers every year, and about 75% of that business goes directly to travel agents, and about 25% goes directly to the consumer. And we also have Cheap Caribbean, which is an OTA, an online travel agent, that 100% of the business goes directly to the consumer with about 500,000 passengers. The total of these 3 distributions, we're talking about 2 million passengers selling 28 Caribbean destinations. We have 620 hotels in the Caribbean that we sell on our portfolio. $790 million were paid by our group directly to the hotels in the Caribbean region in 2013. And 1 out of every 10 travelers from the United States to the Caribbean comes from our group. 70% of our business, sometimes it's a misconception, but 70% of our business is commercial flights, scatter. 30% of our business is charter. So we do support and enhance commercial flights, which we believe is very, very important to develop the region. On the hotel side, we have the largest North American, the fastest growing North American resort company, which is AM Resorts. We have 6 brands with 40 hotels in 21 destinations, 15,000 rooms, 25,000 employees, and 70% of our hotels are in the Caribbean region. The 6 brands that we have is Zozaya, which Zoe means life, Zoetry is the art of life. That's a very high-end boutique hotels, very environmental friendly and wellness oriented. These hotels are less than 100 rooms per hotel with an average investment of $600,000 a key. Then we have on the adults only 2 brands. One is Secrets Resorts and the other one is Breathless. Secrets is tailored for romance, mainly honeymooners, weddings and anniversaries. And Breathless, we call is the newest brand. We say that it's where Vegas meets South Beach. It's also adults only, but it's more a bachelor type of experience, high end as well, but it's more energy and more focus on sensuality. Then we have on the family brands, Dreams, and Now. The brand Dreams, we have about 13 hotels already, and with the brand Now, we have about 4 hotels. Now is larger hotel, a little bit short length of stay, very focused on large groups and conventions, and a little bit more intense. That's why we call it Now, is live the moment, live the now. Dreams is very similar to Secrets, but it's very adequate for families as well. And then we have Sunscape, which is a 4-star brand. We only have 3 hotels with this brand. That it's more focused on the fun aspect. It's fun, it's friendly, cheerful, dynamic, colorful. Then we also have the destination management company, Amstar. The destination management company, it's a crucial part of the overall vacation experience because we, number one, we integrate the vacation experience for the consumer. We promote the micro and mid-sized industries in each country because we do promote the excursions heavily. As a result of that, we allow the customer to experience the destination, and a customer who comes to the destination and experiences the destination not only stays in the hotel, is more likely to come back, number one, and the length of stay, it's longer. We have presence with this company in 12 destinations with 600 staff. We sell about 610,000 excursions every year. We move and transfers over 1 million passengers, and we pay about $80 million a year to local transports and excursion providers on the different destinations. Our group as a whole pays to the region in 2013 $870 million of direct expenses in between hotels and transportations. But also on the sustainability side, that we're also, as Hugh mentioned before, very concerned, and we're promoters of this type of tourism. We have already certified 21 of our hotels as part of the Rainforest Alliance. We also promote some social causes. Part of the sustainability involves deeply the well-being of the communities where we operate. We have a center for single mothers in Jamaica that we employ we offer for single mothers a nursery to take care of their babies, try to avoid the abortions, and we guarantee a job to the mothers who graduate from our technical school in hospitality that we have down there in the island. In the Riviera Maya, we have a project that is called Proyecto Hombre that allows the people that had not even shelter or food in the area to have a place to stay and also to train them and hopefully to integrate them in society, particularly in the tourism sector. In Tulum, we have a training center that provides training for the families of our staff, of our employees, to be able for those kids and that new generation to start entering into integrating themselves into tourism. That's why I created the interest. And we also participate in Amigos de Siancan, that it's a very strong organization to preserve the water of the region and all the Yucatan Peninsula, as well as the natural parks and beauty. So going back now, that's about our group. We're going to tourism. Tourism, we know it's a resilient but also growing industry every year. So according to the World Tourism Organization, we have about 1.1 billion international tourist arrivals. These are the latest statistics we have, so they are last year's numbers. That represent 9.5% of the total world GDP. 1 of every 11 jobs that equal 266 million jobs are working directly into tourism. 1.4 trillion in investments. It's 6% of the total world exports and 29% of the service exports. Tourism is also very important to keep in mind that it's very democratic. Tourism is probably the industry that spreads the wealth and the benefit among more people and more families all over the different communities where the tourism activities take place, more probably than any other industry. In terms of the tourism, particularly in the Caribbean, it represents 14% of the total GDP, which is $49 billion, employs 11.3% of the total employment force, with 2 million jobs. In terms of exports, that's 17.6% of the total exports in the region, which equals $26.2 billion a year. And tourism represents 11.3% of the total investments to the region, equal to $6 billion in a year. Now, on this chart, some of you might be familiar with this. We would like to just use it to show the elasticity. On the left side, we see the high elasticity. And elasticity, I mean, that's where the consumer is, where the tourist is, and they can decide where and when to go. So they have the flexibility to move from one place to the other. And then on the right side, on the other extreme, we have the low elasticity players. In this case, more the destinations themselves, the hotels, the attractions, and the communities. Obviously, on the right side, on the low elasticity, that's what relies most of the risk. And then in the middle, we have the players who connect the consumer all the way in the left to the attractions and destinations, hotels, etc., all the way on the right. Right in the middle, there is some volatility as well. And that's why we got to be very mindful. All the governments should be careful when they select their partners to grow in the long term. Who are they going to develop the tourism with, under which strategy? Apple Issue Group relies right in the middle, but also strongly on the right side. The commitment for Apple Issue Group, it's a long-term commitment. Now that we have all these long-term asset and very asset-intense investments in the region, we cannot just shy away and move somewhere else under any circumstances. So I'm just giving you an example of long-term partnership, strong commitment. No doubt that Apple Issue Group will continue to be a strong player in the Caribbean, and now we're married. It's not just a courtship anymore. And realizing the vision, this is a very nice quote that tells a lot about what it was said yesterday during the ceremony. So when you are on one of the Caribbean islands, sometimes it's hard to picture how they fit with the rest of the islands. But when you see them all joined together like the necklace from the space, you see a natural geographic connectedness among all of them. And there are certain challenges, important challenges, that we need to overcome, because this fragmentation that we have requires a coordinated effort among all of the region nations and some commonality in the back of the house, all of the policies and strategies. But at the same time, each country and each island has their own uniqueness, their unique attributes, and their own visions. And that represents some important challenges. Obviously, as I said, the fragmented regulations, that they're very different in one place to from one place to the other. The lack of continuity in the policies, that scares the investors. If we're not consistent with the policies in the long term, beyond whatever the political term might be. The taxation and the investment barriers that we have a completely different taxation rules in one island to the other island, and make some of them more competitive than some others. But most importantly, creates uncertainty the way we're doing it today. And then we have the difficulty of branding each of the uniqueness of each of the different Caribbean destinations. We need to find the differentiation to each of the products on the different islands. But also, all those challenges create great opportunities. And the opportunities that we see, that we need to create long-term, focus on the long-term benefit we have here. We need to have a master plan that includes hotel residences, attractions, marinas, etc., and infrastructure. And these are things that sometimes need involvement and commitment that goes well beyond the terms of the public servers, or public authorities. It also stimulates other sectors. So it develops other economies within each of the different destinations. Once you have strong tourism, that develops alternative industries within the same